Senegal to Sugar Hill, trace the bloodline. 100 years of brilliance through the color line. They thought the shackles broke but kept the mental chain. Langston penned the future while they legislated pain. Harlem's ballrooms birthed the cosmos in mahogany, while lynching trees still decorated southern botany. Josephine, Wakers, pearls, and Garvey's Navy ships. Du Bois debating destiny with scholarship on his lips. The Renaissance was a renaissance, it was resistance, fam. Every trumpet blast from Armstrong was a battering ram. They gave us minstrel shows, we gave them Sora Neal. Turned depression into art, made the fabricated real. Cotton Club excluded us from tables that we set. To form the Venus Nightly, never free from the debt. But Bessie Smith could shatter glass, shatter cash, shatter lies. Every note she sang contained a revolution in the sky. Build temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the scrubble. Turn the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We build temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from. Fast forward through the decades, watch the pattern reassemble. Malcolm speeches, Martin's marches, every voice begins to tremble to the earth until the structure shows its fractures. FBI was tracking every coon word, every pastor, every actor. 40 acres never came but 40 minutes on a stage. Can reconvene your consciousness and channelize the rage. From bebop to hip-hop, the fool lines mathematical. Each generation weaponized the beautiful, the radical. They gave us Reagan, now there's crack and mass incarceration. We gave them Public Enemy and blueprints for liberation. The Harlem Renaissance never ended, just evolved its form. Every freestyle cipher is a brainstorm, is a storm. Where the children of the talented, the tent that was prophesied, inherit the fire that the water couldn't wash aside. They tried to write us out the narrative. We offered all on text, 100 years of proof, and that we're destined where was next. Temples from the rubble, made cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the largest to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from.
All right, this is, and you are Under the Groove. Under the Groove podcast is in session, people. Let's get it in, man. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Grand Rising, peace and prosperity to everybody out there, man. Here we go. Here we are. Let's get it in. Hot as hell today, I have to say. I've been in here burning up, hot. I mean, just hot as hell, man. All right. I got something lined up for us today, man. We did our thing, man, the other night, man. Last night and Monday, to be quite frank. And we tapped in or touched on the subject of spirituality, man, and what it's really about, what it means to us, and why, for the lack of not understanding how to exercise or utilize that essence, we find ourselves in the position we in, we had the brother Fat Rat Playboy, man, lay some shit down on us, man. That was solid, and everybody have to agree that it was above board. That's one of the phrases we use here, other than focusing on the focus. But in order to get that or do that, focus on the focus, things got to be above board, man. And Fat Rat laid it down flat, man. Wasn't no ifs, ands, and buts about that. All right, and we were in agreement that what he put before us was some solid script. All right, gems, y'all. Here we are, man. Hopefully, everybody. I'm trying to refrain from using that term, hopefully, but may everyone's day be to their satisfaction, and you people, man, are out there getting it done, understanding that today is what matters, the now. We have to put that work in on the now. Tomorrow's not promised, you know what I'm saying? So what they say, man, in sports, leave it on the field, leave it on the hardwood, give it your all, man. So at the end of the get down, man, at the end of the get down, it can be said or it will be said, man, he or she left it all on the field. They did their damn thing. All right. So let's always consider that, in anything we're doing in life, man, let's make it worth the while. All right. Let's be purposeful with our get down. I got a couple of clips I want to drop in, man. I want to drop on us, man. And as we do, let's sit down and chop that and have a discussion in terms of what that means to us, or whether or not what I'm going to show is valid, if we find any validity in it, any truth, and, again, one of our things is speaking truth to power, it's just what it is. That being said, I see this thing. It's a beautiful thing, man. Every time we come in here, man, it lights up a little quicker and quicker. And speaking of that, hey, man, pound that like button. Pound that like button.
Appreciate the energy. I'm ready to
pound it. Share it. But pound it, man. Hit that like button, y'all. Let's get this thing up and running as it should be. telling y'all, man, I think the more we get it out there, man, the more we'll see other platforms, other channels doing what we do, having these discussions that matter. You know, we're not going to be stuck on YouTube stupidity. Rather, we're going to be, you know, trying to progress, you know, and build, you know, some type of alliance, some unity, you know, something that Blackness could actually be proud about and push, be, you know, worthwhile pushing. So let's stick to that, man. Let's get this stuff out there, man, where it's supposed to be. All right. Right quick. Let's jump in here right quick, man. All right. There are people, man. Our people is up in this thing. Right. Salute right back to you, James. I'll see you, bro. Peace and prosperity, man, to you and the fam. Anthony, how you been, man? Ain't seen you in a day or two. Good to see you with us. All right. Good to see you with us. Peace and prosperity to you and your fam as well, bro. James said, man, I hope everything is well. Sending mine always one. It is, man. You know, again, man, we have to be of the mind that, man, even when we think things are bad, we can't just allow that to take over, you know, our energy. You know, we got always had this frame of mind that, okay, it's bad, then it also means it could be good. I can find something positive to extract from that, what we call bad, you know what I mean, to make it, you know, or make this struggle, you know, a little more a little more tolerable, you know what I mean? Excuse me. So yeah, there that is, man. B6, I see you. Say greetings and salutations to you, Bub, and RGC B1. That's right, man. Right back to you, B1 Black first. Let's get it in, man. Queen and Zinga. Excuse me, y'all. Happy Hump Day, RGC. Peace and blessings to all the kings and queens. B1 Black first. James say I was grooving to that P-Funk, to that P-Funkadelic most of the day, cruising. If it ain't funky, it ain't nothing to me, man. I'm telling you, one thing I like about my music is that funk. You know, I stay with that funk just as much as I do with my oldies, you know. And again, I love my R&B, you know, certain eras of R&B, you know what I mean? I don't do all R&B, but funk for sure. Funk for sure, man. Oldies for sure, you know. So, you know, appreciate, man, knowing that you still in that frame of mind, man. That funk, man, that's some old school stuff, man. They don't even do it like that no more. Ain't that something, man? The music ain't even the same no more, man. Hey, damn. James said, man, Bub, you are familiar with HAARP. I've been knowing about them since 2010. They manipulate and control weather, temperature, terrain, and earth shifts. They can cause earthquakes and fissures and storms. Yeah, I think I heard about them. I don't, you know, I knew the government had some type of agency where, yeah, they manipulate, you know, the elements, you know, the weather, you know, shit like that. Yeah, they can create earthquakes, you know what I mean? Cause tornadoes, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I didn't know that they went by the name HAARP, and I'm pretty sure that's an acronym, HAARP, you know. Yeah, man. I didn't know that was the name of the department or the agency, but I did know that, you know, the government does manipulate or mess with, you know, the elements, man, and the weather, man. Something they shouldn't do, but they don't know no better, man. You know, and you know, doing what they do, they got a reason for it, and it always behind some type of money scheme or something. You know what I mean? You're going to say, I know people forget, but people who don't hit the light first thing off top is like coming in your crib with their dirty shoes on and not wiping their feet, soaking up free game and knowledge. Show some love, man. Appreciate that. But tell the truth, man. Truth to power. When y'all come in, man, hit that like button, man. Pound that thing, man. You know, and share to get down, man. Share to get down. Let somebody know, man, that something else is going on YouTube other than this buffoonery we see every day. All right. Appreciate you for that, James, man. Say, show some love. Bub goes out his way to do this for us. And I'm grateful, brother, man. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you brothers and sisters, y'all have agendas, you know, y'all have priorities, and yet y'all come and show up, man. So we're doing this for each other, man. And I appreciate you guys as much as you say you appreciate me. You know, yeah, I don't tend to think, I know that what I'm doing, I consider doing this for the people. You know, I do this for the people. And then, and in that, And therein lies my satisfaction, you know, my gratification, knowing that I'm trying to contribute something other than what my past, you know, would describe in terms of what I've done in the community or in my life. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, this is me. This is me, man. And I appreciate being able to do this. I appreciate brothers and sisters even listening to, you know, sometimes my half-baked ideologies, man, and considerations and conspiracy theories or whatever the case may be, man. But I appreciate y'all, man. You know, truth to power, I do. So James, thanks for that, bro. You're going to say, man, I'm going to continue to work on my anger, bub. I know I peep my flaws daily and try to keep it working on bettering what needs improvement inside and out. I know anger shortens our life like stress do. That's so true, and yeah, we have to be in control of our person. You know what I mean? Again, man, it's nobody else's responsibility but ours, man, to, you know, live a life, man, that's first and foremost, man, a good life, you know. And a good life don't necessarily mean, man, you got wealth, man, monetary wealth, you know, but a good life is that type of life, man, when you're doing what men do, you're doing what women do, you're part of your family, you love your family structure, you know what I mean? You're trying to add to it, not subtract from it. That would include your life, you know what I mean? So anytime, man, and I think that anytime there's a grand rising, there is that opportunity, man, to improve, you know, and we speak about this all the time, man. So James, you know, you on point, you're hitting the nail on the head, man, in terms of what your comment says. So, you know, as long as we keep that in mind, we will progress, we will improve, we'll become better men and women, because again, man, that's not just what society needs, man, or what our community needs, but this is what's required of us. You know what I mean? I think that's part of the purpose for our being, you know, to improve. That's what life is for, man. You know, it's not to go through life and suffer like we do. You know, we see all this suffering, but it may sound crazy, man, but there's in life, even in struggle or in suffering, there's a silver lining, man. You know, it's just based on whether or not we see it is based on how we view our core, our essence, you know, how our spirits are wired. You know what I mean? Man, because I know, man, it could be some bad days and you don't want to hear this shit, you know, because all we know and all we're being confronted with is just not necessarily always negativity, but struggle, you know, and that struggle, man, if we allow it to, it would become this thing of stress, you know. And before you know it, these free radicals and got hold of us, man, and it's tearing us up from the inside out. So, yeah, man, it's always important. It should be imperative then that we understand that we are the ones who control not just what we think, you know, what we speak and what we do, man, but we have the power. It is in us, man, to control our spirits, our souls, our essence. I think that's where it all starts from, you know. So yeah, it's a work in progress. Stay at it though, bro. Stay at it. Like I told you, I tell everybody, man, every day I'm trying to work on me. You know, because some of the same issues you have, we have, you know, we might view them differently. The experience, we might, you know, look at it in a different perspective, but the struggle is still the same. You know what I mean? It exists. You know, the thing is not to let it get the best of us. The whole purpose is to overcome the struggle, I think, you know. So stay at it, James. You're doing a good job, man. I'm telling you, I'm not a low riding type guy, but I don't mind cruising with some good music. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I was looking at this 56, 57 Bel Air rag too, right? Over in Cuba. You know, they got all them old school cars, man. And they're going through some stuff right now, right? United States, man, it's a cold entity right here, man. It's a cold corporation. They're trying to destroy those people over there. Well, the government, but you cannot destroy the government and not affect the people. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, they're going through it over there. And you know, Cuba was a tourist, you know, destination. You know, a lot of tourists go there, but not anymore because they're going through it. So these guys are now talking about selling their cars. I'm like, damn, man, I might need to figure out a way to get to Cuba, get one of them Bel Airs sent over here, you know. Because when it comes to those old school cars, though, James, I never told you this, but a Bel Air is my ideal car. I don't want to cut it. I want to keep it clean. Just clean, man. That rag down, man, that fifth wheel on the back, man. That's my dream car. You know what I mean? I've had for the most part, I've gotten all the dream cars I ever thought about having or wanting. I've gotten them. I've had them, except for that one. So I let the cat out the bag in that respect, because I do intend I will have me a Bel Air, a 57 rag. I do a little shopping around, looking around. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for the right one. Especially when the money is right. I go and get that right now. But yeah, man, just so I can cruise, man. Top down, man. I'm on the dough. You know what I mean? Got my oldies going, man. Of some funk, and hey, man, I'm chilling. Shit, man, I appreciate that. Real spit. Yep. All right, what you talking about, James? Yeah, man, just work on it, bro. That's we always, to the day we die, will be a work in progress. But I think the purpose should always be about looking towards growth, development, improvement. That's all, bro. And you're well on your way. You're doing your thing, man. Here you are, So make no bones about that, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. Somebody told me once some years ago, every time you get really angry, you're literally shaving weeks off your life. Yeah. Anger releases a toxin that is secreted from our gut into our bloodstream. So it's no good, And James, you're going to say, man, thank you, Bub. Man, I've noticed it's all you. Thank you, Bub. I've noticed it's all you real stand-up, stump-down street warriors, real brothers like you, Bub, who understand misunderstood individuals like myself. Your words are priceless, my brother. And again, man, it takes one to know one, right? Been there, man. And again, that goes for most of us, bro. Most of us. And we didn't have to be in the culture, the gang culture or the street culture to have stress, to have anger, to sometimes find ourselves struggling against something that for whatever reason we think we can't overcome. There's nobody alive who haven't had that experience, that individual experience, man. So, hey, man, we're all in the same boat in that respect. Trust and know that, man. Trust and know that. Stay at it though, bro. Stay at it. See, because your time will come when you're gonna be passing this along yourself. It will not be my words. It will be the words you'll learn to develop that you gather throughout your life. You know what I mean? And you'll be able to not necessarily regurgitate, but share them, send them back out, push them forward, for those who are coming up behind you, bro. They're going to need your wisdom. They need your understanding, your experiences, man, and your growth. All that shit matters, man. It all matters, So, hey, stay the course, man. Stay the course. You say, yeah, man, you up in here, James. I appreciate you, man. You say growing up as a youngster, not everyone is always there to listen. I had enough people surrounding me that steered me right, and I owe them all my life. But there was many times I was lost and astray. Yeah, again, man, this is something, man, I think many of us go through. Just straight up, man, we do. As individuals and as a people, man, we go through shit, man. We were talking about this the other day. I think it was last night, with children, yourself, myself, as kids, we're in the mindset, our mindset is that we're men. We're out there trying to survive. We're children though, man, So everybody goes through this, man. And I'm not saying it's okay. I don't think it is, you know what I mean? As a result of the way the world works, it robs us, man, of a lot of times our essence, it takes from us, man, those years that we're supposed to be enjoying life as adolescents, man, as children, man, Life is a harsh thing, man. It's a beast, and a lot of us, we end up foregoing that, that experience, that growth as children, man, because we find ourselves in a situation that calls for or the demands, dictates even that we have to be more than kids. We have to be, what they call a men child, or women childs in the promised land. We have to become men way more than we are at an age way earlier than we should be, So you stay the course, man. But again, man, everything you get, man, store it, protect it, because it's going to come a time you're going to have to unlock it, man, and share it, hand it out, That's what's required of us, man. You're going to have to be able to communicate these experiences, man, to, like you say, a lot of people didn't listen to you. You have a lot of young ones coming up behind you might feel the same way. They're going to feel the same way. No one's listening. And for the most part, yeah, some of them just want to hear so they can vent, so they can get, whatever it is off their chest. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, be there for that, and when they're done, you'll hear that sigh like a load's been lifted off their shoulders, man. And then that's your cue. That's your cue, man. That go for all of us. All right. So again, just stay the course, bro. Not everyone always was there to listen. I had enough people surrounding me that steered me right, and I owe them all my life. But there was many times I was lost and astray. We think we know it all, but we know nothing. Knowledge is infinite because we keep learning and growing. We are literally specks of dust on a tiny little rock floating around in the dark abyss of space. Hell yeah. You say, hell yeah, bud, man. Them 57s is beautiful. They hard to find at a good price. They cost a golden penny, but absolutely, I see a lot of them out there from the Shaw to Broadway, clean as can be. I would love a 59 Impala or a 59 Fleetwood Cadillac. Yeah, man. I went a couple of cars. So the last one I was at was in Compton. My homeboy Skeet threw that thing, man, in Compton at Compton College, man. I was there. And I ran across maybe 4 Bel Airs. All of them was clean, man. From the inside out, man. The floors, everything, man. I'm like, damn, man. That's the car I will have. That's gonna be, my last toy. You know what I mean? My last toy, man. But I'm gonna get that thing, man. And again, they're hard to find. And those that I've researched and looked up and thought about buying, man, an arm and a leg. You're not lying. A golden penny, man. A golden penny. I got my homeboy Dice. He's in the cars. I got a Dice about one, man. He got back, man, and said, dude, talking about 65,000. I'm like, oh man, come on. That's a lot. That's a lot, man. You go to the lot and get that, brand new. You know what I mean? You ain't got to worry about much, but shit, that was a lot, man. But I know what I do realize is, those type of cars, they vintage cars, man, and they're going to cost, especially if they're in mint condition, especially if they're in good shape in terms of the body and the floor, you know what I mean? Then, the upholstery, if all that's on, yeah, it's going to cost. No matter what I think I want to spend on it, man, it's going to cost. But yeah, man, so I'm going to work on it, though. I'm going to get it. I'm pretty sure of that. Man. Yeah. Y'all come on up in here, man. Let's get it in. I got these clips, like I said. And we're going to run these clips, man, because I think there's a message in both. It's something I like doing now, and especially, man, dropping these clips that says a lot, man. And as a result of me dropping them, it opens the door, man, for a little more in-depth conversation and dialogue regarding or pertaining to whatever that clip was. For the most part, we talk about everything. We touch things from A to Z. And, sometimes, we talk about more things, some things more than others. You know what I mean? Always open, man, for that dialogue, man, that's even fresh. But more than anything, it's open for organic, dialogue and discussion. And this is why we do how we do on Under the Groove podcast. We have no problems with just fresh. We can structure it like most podcasts do, man, and they'll come in with a script, itinerary, like this is what we're talking about, these things. Okay, that's fine, maybe one day, out of a week to it, we may get to that, but for the most part, our conversation is basically organic. But again, I'm getting into the habit of, you know, just wanting to present something to the people, something different, and let's see how that takes. You know what I mean? Let's see how that takes, man. All right, let's go on up in here, man. I want to drop these clips. I was waiting for some more people to come on up in here. And we chop it up, man, about what we finna talk about. I don't know if most of y'all heard about what's his name, Rizza Islam. I like what he say, you know, the message. I appreciate the message, you know what I mean? In real life, when I see certain people speaking and stuff in real life, my mind be like, yeah, I wouldn't too much, you know, rub elbows with you know what I mean? Just some don't come off right with me, man, when I listen to some people. Well, not necessarily to the words, but how they carry themselves, be like, okay, yeah, you know, I got to watch that, you know, or watch this, you know what I mean? I don't know why I look like I'm sweating. It is hot, but I'm not sweating. You know, but it's like that, you know. So I tend to want to hear the message more than I want to pay attention or focus on the individual who's delivering it. Because, you know, I know, man, you know, if I allow myself to do that, I'm gonna miss something. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you a prime example of an individual like that who people would probably feel that way about. Shit, I might be one. But Charleston White, you know, most people when they hear him talk and how he just, you know, how he delivers what he's saying, it's a turnoff for most people. But if we look past that and just listen, close your eyes and just listen. Just listen. You know, boy dropping jewels. You gotta give him that. You gotta give him that. I'm not saying that everything he talks about is above board, you know. But I say the majority of stuff he speaks on has a lot of validity to it. You know what I mean? So that's why if I listen to him, I don't have to see his face. You know what I mean? I just listen to the words as if I'm doing an ebook or something. You know, having somebody read to me, you know, just, you know, verbally talk to me. I ain't got to see him. Because I'm sure, you know, most people, when they go through that, they want to see him as he speak. They get turned off. They get mad, you know. So, you know, don't look, just listen. You're going to get something from it. Real spit. Yeah, man. What you say there, James, man? You know, you talking about it's hard coming up in the 90s, man, but I can't compare my struggle to nobody else's. Sending empowerment to all those going through whatever it is. But with that said, Bub, your era seems unsurvivable. Seems unsurvivable. I couldn't walk 4 feet in your shoes because of, and that's real. I'm going to handle mine as a man, though, period. The best I can be is myself. That's it. That's all. Anybody ask for any more than that from you, man, you know, hey, you got to put them in check, man. You got to put them in check, you know. But the thing is, too, know your limitations. Know what you're capable of. Shit, man. And know that, man, also, man, shit, you know those phrases, the sky's the limit, man. Yeah, the intellect, you know, there's no limit to the intellect, you know what I mean? It could be infinite, as you said a minute ago, you know, about space and time being infinite. You know, the essence of one spirituality, man, is limitless. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's not about people, I think, trying to determine who you are, man, and how far you can go of what you're capable of, man. That's always on you. That's always on you, man. It ain't nobody else's responsibility, man. You know, now we can listen and learn, you know, because I think that helps us to grow, you know. But shit, man, ultimately, man, everything we do, man, we gonna be the ones responsible or held accountable for our actions, be they the thoughts, the words, or deeds. They ain't gonna be on nobody else. All right, let me go in here, man. I want to check this out, man, because I find it very, very insightful. I might have to play this again, man, when everybody come up in here. But for right now, I'm going to play it. And let's get a bar of this, man. It's some deep shit right here, Jang.
Thing that we just said. I don't know what the had to happen before we as a community stand up and say, this is wrong. Look how fast them Asian people got there. It's been 3 weeks. Going on 178 years at this point. And we can sit here and make anything in the world go viral. Make the hottest dance. We can make the coldest clothes just by saying that we with it. You think this won't work if we telling them what we not with? We playing, bro. still wearing Gucci around me. We don't have no principles, and man, we ain't never made no one decision that we all stood on. At the same time, we spend on the ignorant shit, this rap music, these Instagram, these clothes, and these Jordans. And shit. We gotta put just that much into knowing about the world too. You need to throw some education on your page, and you find somebody that's interested in you. One of these brothers who's speaking the knowledge. It ain't gotta be Sean King or whoever the popular person is if you disagree with them, but you do need to find somebody with a different perspective on some that you respect. You need distractions because it's hard. But don't let the distractions distract us. People know exactly what's going on, but it's to the point where it's happened so much. Everybody like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to see this. Yeah. That's not gonna stop it from happening. We gotta respect each other more, man, and communicate. It used to be against the law for us to speak to each other, stand outside and have a conversation. It's illegal. This is, you know what I'm saying? They had laws against this. We're 100 years behind in communication.
Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and
discredit everything that we just said.
And the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord.
Discredit everything that we
feared the Lord, and that thought upon his name. Malachi 3:16, King James Version. Man. Now that in and of itself, that message, man, is fire. It's fire, man. It's fire. Now I'm kind of I regret everybody's not in here to hear that. So much so that I know I'm gonna play it again. You know what I mean? Because this is what we discuss. You know, this is what we see going on in our communities, man. I was just with some brothers yesterday, and damn, I said the same thing. I said, man, there's no communication, man. That's our problem. We've allowed ourselves, or we've allowed others to get us to the point where we don't even talk to each other, man, you know, and it's doing damage to us. It's doing damage to us, you know. That's some sad stuff, man. You know, and it is like the only way we communicate is through social media on that negativity, or how we dress our fits, you know what I mean? Or rap music, you know, all this BS, man. We replacing solid, you know, real communication amongst brothers and sisters for distractions, for BS. We're not talking about nothing, man, you know. As a community, you know, as a people, we don't discuss nothing, man. And again, that was just fire, man. I appreciate it because, like I said, just yesterday I was with brothers talking about this same exact thing, man. So to hear that, man, again from somebody else, I don't feel validated, but I feel like, okay, man, the word is getting out. You know, the word is getting out, man. Our people are starting to talk. You know, our people are starting to talk, and I think too, like he was saying, for the most part, we got to use these platforms. We got to use them, man, but use them to our benefit. You know, let's get the word out, man. So I hope y'all appreciated that. You know, I know I did, man. Hey, Smoke, good to see you up in here, man. All right, bro, I understand. He says I'm in the tribal meeting, man. There you go. Getting it in, man. Getting it in. James say, man, like you said, bub, I don't take what others say. How they say it speaks to what kind of person they are. If their energy is messed up, I don't pay them no mind. A lot of puppets and perpetrators are around, and they are around us, man. They be in the midst. You know, I was not trying to speak ill on anyone. I you know, if y'all know me, I don't use names. I don't name drop. You know what I'm saying? There's just something we shouldn't do. But I know I was in the midst of some individuals who, you know, end up, you know, coming up while we having our discussions, and I knew off the rip. You know what I mean? You know, I knew off the rip, man. Angie wrong, everything wrong. You know what I mean? A few of my brothers, man, that I respect and I love. I said something, you know, just in terms of advice, in terms of how they present themselves in society, out in public. You know, a lot of stuff, you know, we tend to bring attention to ourselves. And in most cases, man, for you know, a lot of times it be the wrong type of attention. You know what I mean? It be the wrong type of focus you have on you from other individuals, you know, that could be, you know, jeopardy to you, detrimental even, you know. So I'm talking to my brothers because I love and respect them. And I told them, I said, bro, for real. And that's not how you're supposed to represent it, you know. Don't do that to yourself, you know, because if something occurs as a result of how you are presenting yourself out in public, that's going to affect or impact other people. Now what we got, you know, now it's more problems, you know. And I appreciate the fact that our brothers listen, because they went and, you know, boom, and came back, boom, you know. You got to love that, man. You know, you got to love that some of us will listen to one another, you know. And then again, some don't, because like I said, some, you know, when it came up and the conversation was still flowing in that respect, you know, our presentation, how we present ourselves out in public, in society, you know, whether or not that exposes or brings to you negative or positive, you know what I mean, exposure. You know, some brothers, you could tell they can give, you know, it wasn't for me to be angry because, you know, they weren't trying to hear it. Okay. But that's your mess. That's going to be something, you know, if you're not mindful of what you do, you know, how you doing things, and you're of an age, man, we're supposed to know better, then that's something you got to deal with, man. You know, and me being the person I am, and I said what I said to you, know, something go down, man. Hey, man, I said what I said, and I knew why I was saying it, to avoid that very thing that could occur as a result of how you getting down. And that go for anybody in any community, you know what I mean? Especially older brothers, man, we're supposed to know better. But, you know, we got them type of people also, man, that ain't listening, don't want to listen, can't tell them jack, you know. You can't give them the best advice. So that type of advice that could save their lives, man, they will reject it, you know. And them be the ones, okay, you got to leave them by the wayside, man. You know, then you got to, you know, when you create, you know, your environment, or these people that's in your environment, they can't be included. Because now we already know what you're messing with. You know what I mean? You know, you know, your direction ain't in the same direction we want to go in. So therefore, okay, man, you can't ride with us, man. You know, not now. It probably won't be until such a time, you know, you didn't put a couple of years into, you know, rethinking how you represent yourself out in public, you know. So yeah, man, don't you know, it's like that. We're gonna have all kinds, man. All kinds. A lot of puppets and perpetrators, you know. Yeah, B60, that was deep, right? Yeah, appreciate that, Antonio. I'm telling you, man, I'm geared to run that again, you know what I mean? But like I said, I want to wait till this thing, you know, kind of build up, man. Our brothers and sisters coming here, and we know they there, man, you know what I'm saying, and running back for them, you know. And I know for a fact that people watch to get down, you know, the podcast, and thank you guys for doing that. And they choose to do that without having to come and comment. They don't, you know what I mean? And I respect that, you know. So I'm pretty sure some more have seen this than I think. All right. So I appreciate the fact that they have. That being said, I want to run the other one. This other one is this is Rizza Islam. And for those who know, man, I'm not a religious brother, man, but you know, I just, you know, I respect individuals regardless, you know, of their religion or anything else, man. You know, I respect them based upon, you know, how they carry themselves and how they interact with me. I don't care what, you know, what faith you are, what tenet you follow, whatever. Yeah. You know, how you get down. That's what matters to me, man. That's what I'm watching, you know. You know, because I know you can have a Christian as well as a Muslim, you know, and be devout, you know, just in it. But I can see behaviors that are contradictory, and I'll be like, okay, I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'm good, you know. That's what I use, man. But here's this other get down, man. I want to share this with y'all right quick. Hold on. Okay, it was good to go. Here's this other get down, man. Check this one out. This is Rizza Islam, man.
Everyone does not include us in their party. Everyone does not include us in everything that they do. there has to be a point of division in order for us to separate and then unite among the like-minded of our people. So let's make this very clear. When we say we want to call people out, let's make this all the way clear. Everyone knows who is real and who is not.
There you go.
Because there are some of us who are banned from every damn where because of how absolutely legitimate we are. So when you want to call people out, first they must be pointed out. We cannot unite with slave makers, slave owners, traitors, turncoats, nor collaborators. It ain't gonna happen like that. Too many of us are black people with white minds. And so when you put people in front who say they speak for us, but at this point we are still in the same position, if not a little backward from where we were when it comes to our overall progress, I call conspiracy. Now, before anyone says conspiracy theory, conspiracy means when two or more groups, organizations, or individuals come together to do something that is evil and or wicked. It is an absolute conspiracy. You have too many black billionaires and millionaires who do not fund projects for black grassroots organizations to come up out of the condition that we are in. Too many people chasing the bag, but you don't get no damn respect because you sacrifice your people to be included into somebody else's group. So let's stop the nonsense. Cut the cap in the game. This generation ain't playing with this no more. I want us to all understand this. There is a separation here. The commercialized talking, everyone wants to be soft and talk soft. The enemy doesn't give a damn about nothing you call yourself. You can call yourself a Moor, Hebrew Israelite, you can say black, you can say FBA, all of that. We are considered to them.
That's
right. That is the very plain, simple reality. If you are a black millionaire, but you can't speak the truth, you are nothing but a rich slave. That's right. And I will never trade my place with someone who has a lot of money, but no respect for my own people. That's right. Too many of us get comfortable once we get a check and we forget where we came from. And you don't want to even go back around your people because you feel like we're not even worth being around. So at this point, again, this is a nice stage, a wonderful event, but knock it off. Those who are really about this, be about it, so that the enemy can say, you know what, we need to stop playing with these people and give them their real respect.
There that go. Yeah, man. You know, that should be our goal, man. That should be our ambition. We're supposed to strive for that, man. That mindset, you know, real shit. The great, all right, what it do, bro? See you up in there. You say, man, they manipulate the best of our talent, streets, music, politics, religion. It's what they do. And like RZA was saying, man, they go and get the best of us to work for them, you know, and all the while, man, a lot of them that they go and recruit and they set back in front of us as our leaders, man, don't have our best interests, you know, in mind or in heart, you know, or in spirit. You know, we have a lot of them people, man, and we see them every day. We got some, man, that's not in, you know, that's not famous, you know what I mean? But they're in the community, we see them. They're the same people, man. They just on our level. Them people, man, you know, based upon what they're doing, it would describe whether or not they with the people or for the people or not. All you got to do, man, is observe. You know, we got them. We got them. And I hate to say it, man. You know, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. You know, they got one thing in mind, man. That's the bag. They're not even realizing, man, that they're selling us down, you know, the river, man. It's selling us out, man. They're part of those who have this idea that, you know, we are to be destroyed, manipulated, you know, used up or whatever. They are in line with that mentality as long as they can get something from it. Got to be careful, man. So I'm saying that, and I showed that clip to say, man, or to express that when we're talking about growth, when we're talking about progressing, being empowered, man, you know, having that excellence about ourselves, man, we have to be mindful who is a part of this get down. You know, that way, man, we can weed out, man, those individuals that really are not interested in seeing the empowerment of the people, you know, and seeing our people come out of this situation. You know, in their mind, there's too much competition, or they won't be able to get everything they can get if they was doing it by themselves. If they had to get with a gang of us to make changes in the world, and they're looking at it like, oh, I ain't gonna get a lot. You know, we got to be mindful what's going on, man, and who's a part of this problem. We have a lot of brothers and sisters who are part of the problem, who have effectively sold out. You know, they're effectively sold out. And again, anytime we get individuals who are thrust in front of us, pushed in front of us, some individual or individuals who we have not decided will be the individuals to speak for us, to represent us, better watch out, man. Better watch out. And I'm going to tell you why, not just because them people pushed them before us, pushed them in our face, but because them same individuals being pushed upon us did not stop and say, hey, man, I'm being asked to represent y'all. How do y'all feel about this? You know what I mean? That right there is a good sign, man. That right there is a good sign as to whether or not this individual is for us, about us, or not. I say it all the time, man. And I don't care what no politicians say, because the politicians be the first one to say, well, the people, they put me here. Nah, man, that ain't necessarily true, you know? So we just got to be mindful of everything we're doing now. You know, first and foremost, we have to reestablish communication amongst the people. Like the brother said, man, communication amongst each other, one another, was against the law. It was against the law. We weren't supposed to huddle together and speak amongst ourselves. You know, you can get whipped for that, sold, maybe even killed. You know, back then they probably looking at, oh, you're an insurrectionist, you're trying to start a revolt, slave revolt. So they didn't allow it. Funny thing is, in prison, you can't even be in the pack or in a group of more than 5. You know, that at least that's what it was, or how it was when I left prison. I left prison in 2016. Been home 10 years now, you know, in a couple of months, be 10 years. But I know for a fact, you couldn't be in a crowd of more than 5. And some prisons said no more than 4, you know? So some of them old ways still existed, you know, and they existed in prison while we incarcerated. They didn't want it, you know? Nowadays on the streets, police pass by, they see a group of youngsters or brothers, maybe even sisters, in a group of more than 3 or 4. They're pulling up. What are y'all doing? What are y'all talking about? Who are you? You know what I mean? So our ability, our right to communicate was stripped from us, to communicate with one another was stripped from us a long time ago. And to this day, man, they still implement that law, that rule. If it's more than 3 or 4, then something's going on and we got to stop it. They don't say it outright, but their actions say it, you know? Their actions say it, man. So, you know, we got to get on point, man. Yeah, they're scared of the unity, B60. They are scared of the unity. See, because that's something, man. Anytime you get more than 3 brothers together, you got to know, man, at some point that conversation is going to get serious. Well, we like to think that it will, you know. We like to think that it will. That conversation will get serious, and it will get serious in terms of politics, especially black politics, you know. Yeah, that's a threat. That's a threat. So there's no telling why we see a lot of what we see in the communities that distracts us from communicating, you know what I mean, with one another. So we got the cell phone now, you know, we got social media. So rather than us talking amongst ourselves, we use the phone now, you know what I mean? And for whatever reason, the phone don't necessarily, or doesn't necessarily lead us to positive, you know, constructs or conversations, dialogue. You know, for the most part, cell phones lead us to those distractions, man, that are just, you know, that continue to prove to be detrimental to us, you know, not helpful at all, negative, you know. We got to get to the point, man, where we reestablish communication with brothers and sisters, man. That's important. We got to know how important that is, man. I mean, to the point where we're willing to say, okay, man, I'll rather than be on the phone, you know, hey, man, can we meet? Can we meet up, man? I'm going to call Joe Blow. I'm going to call Willie Lou, and, you know, I'm going to call Jack Rabbit, and you call, you know, Stonehead, and, man, we meet up, man, and let's chop it up, you know. This is what they don't want. This is what they don't want. You know, brothers together, sisters and brothers together, having serious conversations is a problem. And not just for the authorities. That goes for any race that sees us congregating, you know, and not necessarily about religion. You know, that's a threat. You know, because as far as they know, we're talking about burning down their business or something. You know, we're talking about setting up shop right next door and shortstopping everything that go over there, like we used to do back in the, you know, in the game. You know, you pelling them pebbles. You had the trap right there, but you know, cats would stand right, you know, right at the gate, not in front, but yeah, you can shortstop everything. Get fat, you know. Yeah, man, we have to get to that point, man, where we start communicating with one another as we should, you know. And not only that, but we also have to be in the presence of mind, be able to recognize, man, those individuals, man, who are plants amongst us, who work with them people against us, you know. A lot of us don't want to acknowledge that, man. A lot of what we see going on in our communities, man, even on social media, are, you know, indications of, well, point to these individuals who are, you know, lockstep in line with those people who run everything. Facts. You know, if you're peddling poison to the people, part of the problem. And I have to say that. You know, if you're gang banging in the streets, you want to do harm to another brother, part of the problem. You know, if you came down out of the hills, man, because, you know, Master Willie told you to, you know, to come get us in line and tell us some narrative, a lie, you know, that they want us to believe, you know, and carry with us day to day, you're part of the problem. Just, you know, facts, man. Facts. You know, if you're willing to sell the people out, kill the people, do harm to the people for this system or for those in power who run everything, you'll sell out. Just those are facts, man. Those are facts. You know, if your game, your thing ain't on elevating not just yourself but your people, then you're in the wrong game, man. You're in the wrong game. That's what it should be about, y'all. Straight up. It's about elevating each one. Steel sharpens steel. Iron sharpens iron. Shit. But we are the ones who need to be in the position to do what we're supposed to be doing, you know, because nobody else is going to do it for us. Nobody else is going to do it for us. We're on the lowest rung of the totem pole or the ladder. We're the only ones without anything concrete. But we contribute everything, man, to society. They're in Europe, man, listening to hip hop and rap, talking like us, dressing like us, you know, emulating us. But we don't own nothing. That's something's wrong with that. And again, that's not by mistake. That's by design. You know, the fact that we don't own anything yet, we damn, man, we produce a lot for society, you know, but we don't own none of what we produce. So that's bad business. I had another clip I wanted to share. Yeah. And this is the one that really, you know, hits home. I appreciate this sister for jumping in here and dropping this, man. But this also hits home, man. So I'm going to drop this up in here, man. Let me play this one. And also, it gives us an idea why a lot of us act this way, because, you know, a lot of us do realize where we are, you know what I mean? And what the system is. Here, get this.
The Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights and all of this of independence was for white men who had money. It's never been about everybody from day one. America does not care about your rights. America does not care about your freedom. America cares about money. The reason that the Civil Rights Act was passed was because of the Montgomery bus boycott that lasted 18 months and almost bankrupted the city of Montgomery.
Now, right quick, let me jump in there. When we talk about segregation, that boycott of the bus lines in Montgomery was, you know, it came as a result of segregation. Before Rosa Parks, there were other women and men on the bus who had refused to get out and give up their seats. it got to the point where, you know, it became violent for them, you know. So, okay, you're going to start arresting us, dragging us off the bus, beating us because we won't give up our seat. And I worked a hard day too, you know, maybe 10, 12 hours. But so what occurred is the brothers and sisters decided that communication, you know, it went into effect. And they said, listen, we're not going to ride their buses no more. We'll find a way. And they did that. They did that. And it affected the system. It damn near turned the system on its ear. See, this was a result of segregation. You know, that was Jim Crow, man, at work. Brothers and sisters said, okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, matter of fact, let's do it this way. Turn the system on its ear. Now, why they integrated, man, I don't know, man. We'll discuss that, but check this out.
Montgomery. These white people did not all of a sudden want to give us rights. It was because the city almost went bankrupt. That's why. The day we start remembering that America cares about money first and foremost, and not about your feelings or your freedom or your rights, things will actually get done. I do not understand how people who live there, who have lived here their entire lives, do not understand that America is about money. That is it. America was started as a business. Corporations started America. Colonization, all of the Western Hemisphere was about money. That's it.
There you go. There you go. Well, she said, I can't understand why we don't figure this out. I think that we have, and because we have, a lot of us has decided, again, this is learned behavior. What we've seen since we've been here is that, hey, man, money is king. And so we tend to, you know, carry on that way. We tend to look at it just like that. If you don't have money, you're nothing. You're nobody. You know, a lot of them fail to realize that you can have money. You can have all the money you think you need. Ain't going to change nothing in terms of how they see you or how they're going to continue to treat you. You'll still be a ninja, man. You know, to them, you'll never be accepted. No matter how much money you got. In fact, you get too much, they'll take it. Just what it is, you know. But she said she couldn't understand after we've been here for so long. We haven't figured it. We figured it out. But I think that for the most part, a lot of us, brothers and sisters, have decided to just go along with the program. We talk about this all the time, man. We want to change the world, man. We got to make them hard choices, man. We got to sacrifice those things that we become comfortable with. We got to sacrifice them. We got to, amen, as a unit. I mean, man, in the realest way, man. In the realest way. Black people, you got to start making those moves, man. If it's rent and it's too much, all black people, just like the bus, man, like, you know what? Nah, we not paying no rent. Man, look, man, man, that would change shit overnight. It would, man, it would affect the economy. Wall Street will be affected. And then they'll be in them back rooms talking about, oh, God dang. How do we placate them? How do we get them back in line? Because they're ruining everything. You know, they'll find a way to ease, that stress, that pain, that we're going through, man, for the time being. But you can't stop there. It would be like anything else, a bill. Water and power, electricity. I ain't paying y'all nothing. We got to be willing to make them sacrifices, man. That's the only way. That's the only way. But again, in order to get to that point, we have to learn how to start communicating again. That's what we're missing, man. That's why we haven't come together. No one's communicating. No one's communicating what the structure should be about. What's the purpose? What's the reason? Why is this good in terms of us coming together, unifying as a people? What does it serve? No one's communicating this stuff, man. More of us need to start communicating this. Straight up. All right, Rakufa, I see you up in here, man. As a man, woman think, so is he or she is. All right. If our people could process a plan of boycotting the bus services, Then we can boycott the grocery stores, liquor stores, etc. in our communities. Then implement our own people in those positions. Yeah, that's a plan. You say, come on, bub, what movie did I ask you to watch? Did you? All right, man. Now, we want to talk about Rakufu. Man, I love you, man. Now, this might be the third movie you done sent me, asked me to watch, bro, that I thought was some trash. But the message, I get it, especially when he quoted to the Asian individuals where karate came from. You know, that's fire. That was fire. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are under, I swear to you, Rakufu, I said this, man, this way far I came up from prison. I don't know where I got it from, but I was talking to the brothers about karate and all this, and they swore up and down it was, you know, the light-skinned Asian, the slant light-skinned Asian who created karate. I told him, nah, man, come from our people. You know, that come from our people. You know, the ones who protect the pharaohs and all that, man, they had to be skilled in that shit. You know, I told them, oh, man, now, man, you got it, man. You know, the Buddha heads, man, that come from the Buddha heads, da-da-da-da. Like, no, man. And I swear they thought I was lying, man. But, you know, I don't know where I got it from, but I did get it, you know, and I stuck with me because I trusted it. I trusted it to be true. You know, most everything come from us, man. That's why I did. You know, I've been a little biased, but yeah. So when the brother was quoting Jaleel White, I just think Jaleel White is such a terrible actor, man. You know, he's very skilled in the martial arts, no doubt, no doubt. And maybe, you know, this is his way trying to mix, you know, action with, you know, a little drama, you know, more lines, you know, trying to hone the craft, man. But the dude is a terrible actor, man. And then my boy, man, oh my God, man. Orlando Jones, man. I'm like, what happened to my boy Orlando, man? He looked terrible. Then you got the girl Lala with all this plastic surgery. So I'm trying to look past all this, man. I'm trying to catch whether or not there was a message, you know. And again, I have to, you know, admit that he gave him a history lesson that, you know, I think angered him more than anything else, you know what I mean, in terms of the martial arts and where it truly came from. You know, he said that the brother's name was Damo. I think it was Damo. I'm not sure right now, but the fact that he did that, it was proper, man. I appreciated, you know, hearing that. Oh, so you saying we got the wrong one? I got to blame the wife on that then. I got to blame the wife on that one. Because I know I asked her, I said, you sure that's the one? She said, oh, yeah, this the one. It got the boy. She said, it got your boy Jaleel White. I said, hey, my boy, that fool ain't that. Okay, I'm going to watch another one tonight. I promise you, bro. And my bad. Because I'm like, man, this damn, hey, man, Rakufu keep, you know, putting me to these movies, man. You know, I talk a bunch of shit, man. I like, it's some crap, man, you know. Yeah, that was some bullshit. So I'm glad I got it wrong. I got it wrong. I ain't going to blame it on the wife, man, because I should have went and turned on my TV on and did the damn thing. So I will watch tonight. And tomorrow night, I will have you a synopsis. I'll be able to talk to you about it, bro. Because I swear, man, I was like, man, I know damn well Rakufu ain't directed me to this movie, man. But anyway, glad to know it wasn't the right movie. All right. You said Marvin Gaye did the theme song. Okay, he did the soundtrack. Trouble Man, yeah, his song Trouble Man, yeah, it's a classic. I still play that to this day. Yeah, I still play that to this day. He said, no, Trouble Man. All right, African Universal Black Man, wake up. The world is yours. Thank you for that, Rakufu, man. And I hope you got a laugh at what I just said, because I swear I was laughing like a big dog. Had my wife laughing. I said, this damn Rakufu, man, this is about the third damn movie. You know, I was, you know, talking big shit, but I'm joking. I said, oh, man, I can't wait to tell him. And yeah, the joke's on me. Wrong movie. All right. I will check that out tonight, man. Real spit, bro. Yeah. As a man or woman thinketh, so is he or she is. Yeah. Yeah, man. So yeah. Now back to what you're talking about in terms of what you dropped about boycotting. I think that just on the face of what you said, especially in regards to grocery stores and shit, we hey man, we're in a terrible way. What they call now, they term our communities food deserts, water deserts, you know, and people don't get that, man. They don't get what's being said, man, about our communities, you know, and something should be done before this year is out. In fact, before the summer get here, brothers and sisters need to start, you know, boycotting, you know, and getting at certain individuals who have money to start something and figure out laying a business plan of putting one in effect to where, yeah, we are monitoring and running our own grocery stores, you know, our own water distribution, you know what I mean? Because if shit goes bad or when it goes bad, we're at the mercy of people who don't give one flying flick about us. We're at their mercy. We will starve. It will be just like what we see in Gaza. Our babies will be starving to death, man. Dehydration and starvation, you know? We don't own nothing. We don't own a grocery store, man, let alone an army to defend us. You know what I mean? If people should decide to, you know, go in on us. You know, so I agree, man. Again, though, we have to be willing to make those sacrifices, man, to that point, or to, you know, in that perspective, to where, you know, we're doing something, but we're going to do it for the greater good of the people. As a result, there will be a result of the actions we take, man. If not, again, man, we're allowing people, man, to control us. And that's really all it's about. We don't have any money because it was determined we shouldn't. And for any of those who get it, they have to control them so that they don't use their money or utilize their money to help their people. That's the game, you know, and that's sad, man. That's some sad stuff. So yeah, hey man, yeah, we boycott, but we're gonna boycott. We should not boycott like times of old. You know what I mean? If we are to boycott, we're gonna do it for the means or in order to establish our own, not to ask them to improve on the grocery stores they run in our communities. You know what I mean? Nah, man. Because to do that would be just going backwards. I fully agree, bro. He said, yep, that was funny. You know. But hey, man, Rod, damn, man, that's truth to power, man. We live in food deserts, man, and water deserts. Again, we control nothing. We got brothers and sisters in the streets acting like damn fools, like they run things. Do not own the pavement they walk on. Do not own the front door that they walked out of. Do not own nothing in the community, man, that is, you know, that could very well sustain us as a people if we did, and if something occurred that would be, you know, against us and our well-being. We own nothing. I said this a long time ago, maybe some months ago, that a lot of us don't realize that we are the resource. We are a resource that everyone, you know, extracts from. Everyone but us. We are our best resource. We are our wealth, man. We just don't know it. We're led to believe that money is what rules everything. It should rule us. We believe that paper money, we trust that paper money solves everything. You know, it's messed up, man. All right, Frederick, I see you, bro. Salute right back to you. Ain't seen you in about 4 days. There you go, 4 salutes, man. Hey, may you and your family, man, be in peace and in prosperity, man. Good to see you hit, 10 toes down. That Grand Rising was obviously to your approval and liking, because here you are. And this goes for everybody out there, in fact. You as well, Rakufu, man. Peace and prosperity to you and yours, bro. Yep. Fact, boycott, take over, and control, y'all. But see, now here's this. Now, that's the struggle. That would be a struggle. You know where that struggle would start, right? You know where you would come to resistance, or who you would come to, resistance from, right? And that's messed up. That's messed up. That even go for brothers and sisters who smoke, do their ganja. Grow your own. Grow your own. Grow your own, man. What brothers and sisters spend, let's say in 1 month on that, they can get all the supplies they need in 1 month, man, to begin to grow their own. Have a little patience. It's going to take some months for it to come into bloom, but grow your own, man. You depend on them, to get lifted. While at the same time, you don't know what you're inhaling. I don't know, man. Shoot. Boycott. Yeah, we can, but that's going to be a problem. I'm down, but that'll be a problem. That would be a problem. And it would start with our own people. And then, know for a fact, if we went about it correctly as a unit, them people that run everything, their first reaction would be, how do I phrase that? It would be about force. They would really, I think, attempt to make us do something that benefits them. I think that would be their first reaction. You know what I mean? And if we stand fast, we stay strong and stick to the script, that would change. Then it would become, okay, well, our mistake, which I won't. But again, man, that in and of itself is a cold struggle, man. Rakufu, you said, man, after the Black Woodstock, go back to your communities and implement the plan. All right, C-Fire 1011 said, man, wanted to ask you, did you know my father? They called him Bear. You talking about Bear? What? Are you talking about Bear? Give me a yes or no. You talking about Bear, man? Yeah. Me and my wife, man, that was our bro. Yeah. Yeah, if that's who you talking about. Carl? Man. Yeah. Facts, man. It's my loved one, man. I remember when he first moved on the set, when he moved in with his dad right there on 74, and we turned his dad's garage into our clubhouse, It was our shack. We called it, I think we called it the cave, if I remember correctly. It was so long ago. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's my loved one. I was doing a life sentence, man, and he would write me. We grew up together, went to school together. We slept in cars, man, and he had to run away. I think sometimes he'd hang out with me because I was in the streets, man. I couldn't go home or whatever. I go sleep in the cave. He'll come in and get on the other couch and we'll talk all night. She can go sleep. Yeah. Yeah, I knew him. Yeah, I knew him. Yeah. And a lot of us, we loved him. Just so you know, we loved him. Oberon, we loved you. Wow. What's your name, man? Who's your mom? Were you born out here in California or when he went to Albuquerque? Damn, I just want to say, yeah, man, we knew and loved your dad. He was our brother, straight up. He was one of the dudes we grew up with. And I was telling the fellas the other night that the guys I grew up with, there are very few of us left now, And he was in, yeah, man, I know your mom as well, man. That's my sis. Yeah, man. My wife know it, man. With them, that's family, man. You know, you talk to your mom, you tell her I said, hey, tell her Bubble said, hey. All right, real spit, man. I've seen Birdie in a while. Man. Yeah. Even Queen Nzinga know him. She said, yeah, Bear was one of my good homies. Good dude. Rest in peace. Real spit. Birdie, your mom, man, you tell Birdie, man, you talk, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And Birdie, if you watching, I love you, girl. I ain't seen you in a minute. Man, that's my home girl, man. Yeah. Yeah, real spit, man. All right, man. Damn. Queen Nzinga says she have an old picture of her and Birdie. Of her, him, and Birdie. Wow. Yeah, man. Watch, we gonna end up Birdie gonna end up calling. Watch. Somebody gonna say, man, give me Birdie number. Damn. Yeah, Bear Ron's my motherfucking homeboy, man. My brother. Real spit. Real spit, man. Oh my God, man. I'm smiling because I got memories, man. That was one of our dudes, man. You know. Mr. Carl, man. But it's a pleasure to meet you, man. All right. It's a pleasure to meet you. You know. Love and respect, man. Your dad, rest in peace, and your mother. All right. So, man, you're more than welcome to be here, man. You know, this is family, man. You know, I hope you stay and become a part of this family. All right. Real spit, man. Man. Yeah, Rakufu. Yep. Baron, man. You say Rakufu say Black Big Bear, the big homie. Yeah. Baron, man. Dang. More than welcome, bro. Part of this family. I'm just sitting up thinking about Bear, man. Bear would write me, man. No matter what he was going through or where he was, man. He, you know, I get a letter from Bear. It'd be one page, man. He said, man, I'm just thinking about you, man. I love you. Yeah. Most of us was in prison. He was probably one of the only couple of homies out. Yeah. Him and Fudd, man, our homies, man. Yeah. All right, C-Fire, man. Good to have you in here, man. Good to have you in here. Part of his presence, you know? Yeah. Rakufu said, man, we need a Black Woodstock, man, where our soul artists, Erykah Badu, Rakim, etc., come out, man, and soothe the crowd, man. And then drop jewels in the music like we used to. Braid freedom routes, man, in the hair and slavery, you know? Yeah. Facts, man. Time to boycott, man, and take over, man. Rakufu said Charlie Brown and Davo wanted to buy that car wash on Florence and Hoover for the community. Rick Ross wanted to buy it in the community and had hotels, etc. Yeah, man. You know, back then, man, we was, you know, I think we had the right mindset, but we didn't have the drive, man, to do all the things we should have done. Because both of them car washes on both sides of Florence and Hoover, we could have purchased them, you know, could have purchased Tams right there, you know, the liquor store, you know, that got burned down in the riots. You know what I'm saying? All the little stores up and down Florence, you know, shit from Normandy, you know, to Broadway. You know what I mean? All the little stores up and down Hoover, man. We, you know, the homies had, you know, they had dreams, you know, ambitions, man. You know, but the money from that game, man, whatever, man, for whatever reason, it didn't last long. And it wasn't put to the use, you know, it should have been. You know, a lot of loved ones did good in that game, you know. A lot of us did, you know. You know. Yeah, man. Shit. Yeah. All right, James. James, LOL, man. I know you had a tough. I know you're a tough critic, brother Bub. I don't like movies neither, man. Besides the timeless classics, man. Yeah, man. You should have saw me in there, James. I was sitting there. My wife, when she was laughing, man, she was just hysterical. I'm cracking jokes about throughout the whole movie, man. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, really? Oh my God, man. And then I'm like, all right, man, what happened to Orlando Jones in that movie? And again, that was not the movie. I understand, Rakufu. My bad. But you know, just looking at him, man, I was like, man, dang, you know. My boy Orlando Jones, man, I always thought he was funny on Mad TV, especially, right? Real funny dude. I'm looking at him now, I'm like, dude, you're not even older than me. What happened? You know, I'm looking at Lala. I'm like, oh, hell no. What, man, this girl done went, she got one of them permanent, oh, man, I'm looking at them like, I look at my own cheeks and I kind of think, damn, I might look like I didn't have something done on my cheeks, but no, I haven't, you know. This woman, man, why did she do this to herself, man? I just couldn't understand it. So I'm cracking jokes throughout the whole movie, man. And I'm like, this some bull crap, man, if I ever seen it. After that damn Rakufu. But again, man, the joke's on me. But me and my wife had a good laugh because I cracked jokes, man, throughout the whole movie. I'm telling you, throughout the whole movie, man, I ain't do nothing but crack. Then they had that stupid, this ignorant, the Buff brother that started social media eating the prison spreads and shit, right? Always like walking like this. I'm like, man, they got this dude in there acting like a damn fool, man. I went in on that movie, man. And they even had the boy, Mike Epps. I don't even like Mike Epps. I don't think he's funny. They had him in there. And I'm like, man, they didn't just went and got on. I said, man, our brothers and sisters must be doing bad to make this movie, man. Because that movie, that wasn't even B-rated. That wasn't even a B movie. It wasn't even in the alphabet. You know what I mean? That's how bad the damn movie was. The CGI was terrible. Everything. I'm like, oh, my God, man, you got to be. Then they got my boy Meth in there. And I'm like, come on, Matt. Come on, Matt. You got too many other spots, man. You do too many other good, you know, shows to be in that movie. Oh, no, man. I don't know, man. Bad, man. Bad business. Bad business. Yeah, Jay, yeah. He said Bub was over there watching that film like, what the is this, man? It was some bull crap, man. It was some bull crap. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get on that, man. B60 and Rakufu said, yeah, Marvin Gaye did on the song the movie I supposed to have watched, Trouble Man. Marvin Gaye on the soundtrack. He did the soundtrack. Yeah, I'm gonna go check that movie out tonight, man, for sure. And initially, while we're watching the movie, my wife kept saying, this is like a blaxploitation movie. I said, hell no, that ain't even blaxploitation. That's how bad the movie was. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. But I will for sure tonight, Rakufu. I'm going great. I'm gonna make sure the right movie is on the TV. I should have turned my TV on, double check it. But my wife, she her TV already be on, and she, oh, I got the movie. I said, all right, yeah. Yeah. Man, I was trying to move away from this part of the conversation, y'all. I'm just be 100, man. No, my spirit can't handle this, man. You know, all our mugs, man, all our brothers, all of them, man. Myself, bro, Sag, D and Stone, Hito, you know, our crew, you know, that we all ran with, Jay, Hoof Jay, just trying to remember, man. But there are others in our generation, you know, Hugo, man, Sinbad, you know. It's a few of us left, man, but there's so many of us, man. So many. Whole lot of brothers, man. Yeah, shit. All kind of homies. Frog, man. Man, my bro. Oh man, there was this incident. I can't share this story, but it was funny. And I crack jokes about this, you know, but you know, with the homie, you know what I mean? With the homie Frog. This some way back stuff, man. Like, you know, way back. But it was me, Frog, and Baron, man. We ran into this incident, man. And it was one of them things, man, where, you know, I wouldn't be speaking right now, you know, had I opened my mouth and said something I shouldn't have said, because, you know, the situation was dire. I mean, you know, dead to rights. That's the position I was in, dead to rights. I'm like, oh, you know, and I was all kind of bumberclods, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, fuck. I don't know how I was able to walk away, and, you know, they, you know, went on and whatever. And I'm like, oh, shit. But I got, you know, that whole incident was crazy, man. You know, and I lived to see another day, man. But we laughed about it, man. Me, Frog, and Baron, man. And I'll tell you, it's fine. One day, I don't know, man. I'll check with the homie and see if I can I might put it in a book. I don't know, man. But it was hilarious after the fact. An incident occurred after the fact. You know, yeah, oh my God. I hope one day I can tell that story, man. Not the whole story, but, you know, the funny part about it. And trust and know, there was nothing else we could do but laugh. Well, I can now. We can now. We laugh about it now. Frog and I and Bear, you know, no longer here. But, man, that was a crazy time, and it was funny. We joke about it to this day, me and Frog. That was our dude, man. Z-Bone. No shit, man. Mugs, Z-Bone, man. Man. Whole lot of us, y'all. Whole lot of us. Little Devil. That's just name just coming up in my head that's still here with us, you know. But Z-Bone, rest in peace, man. Shout out to the loved one, Little Devil, man. RC, you know. Man. Yeah, Sam Evans said, man, I haven't seen Sag since 92. Shit, man, when I seen Sag, well, I talked to Sag. Been about a month or so, man. Last time I seen him, man, we was somewhere. We chopped it up for my matter of fact, I think we was hanging out somewhere, man. You know. Yeah, I mean, when Sag them first moved on the set, man, we used to be in his garage too, man. Used to hang out ditch school in his garage. You know, just and a lot of history, man. A lot of history, man. A lot of history. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, rest in peace, man. LaJoy. And Art, you know. The music staff, huh? You talk about the record shop right there, man, in the parking lot where Ralph's used to be. Winter Donuts. Man. Quinn and Zinger says she watched me say my boy Meth was in that movie. He was carrying the film. No, man. He's acting still. No, man. I was disappointed to see Meth in that movie, man. I was just disappointed. They got him to shoot out, man. This cat, Meth, sitting up, got a dress, man, like he in the 1930s, man. He got to put on a white shirt with the armbands around it, man. They put on the derby, man, and pull out the Thompson, man, and by the end, the whole shootout is over. I'm like, come on, man. Nah. Yeah. Queen and Zinger say, man, a lot of good memories. I reflect on them. I reflect on them days often. Yeah, I met my wife back in them days, man. 1985, man. Yeah. Man. Naked booty, man. Come on, man. As kids, we used to walk up Florence, man. And the dude that at the door, every now and then he'd let us get a peek. We was kids, man. And this before junior high, before 7th grade, We were in the streets, man. We were in the streets. We were trying to eat, man, trying to live, so, Or. But yeah, naked booty was one of our distractions, man. We go, peek in right quick, and then he'll chase us. Well, now you doing me damn though, Yeah, man. Them was the days, man. Taco Pete right across the street. Man. One thing about Taco Pete, now we had a habit back in the day, y'all. We was always hungry. If we wasn't stealing from one of the stores, man, to get something to eat, we'll go to the burger stands, in the community, man, on the set and snatch food, order food. We snatch it and run. We never did that to Taco Pete. Blacks had owned that Taco Pete right there, And so we never did that to them. And everybody, we called that. We never snatched food from them. We could be hungry. We'd sit there and ditch sometime, We do it in the hopes that, they'll slide us a couple of burritos, which they did, them sisters worked up in there. They seen us. They knew we was hungry. I can't recall a homie ever even trying to rob Taco Pete. Hold on. I think somebody tried to rob and the homies got on him. Yeah. Because that was, leave Taco Pete alone. That was our shit. Right on burger, man, shit. Man, rob right on in a minute, man. Snatch food for them all day long. Tams, Toms. None of them mattered to us, man. But Taco Pete was one of our hangouts. Everybody remember Taco Pete, man. They had one in Compton also, James. This one was right here on Florence and Estrella. No, is that Bonzella or Estrella? Bonzella. Yeah. Shit. I'm going to go with Bonzella shit. Yeah, man. Them was the days, man. Yeah, all we can do, man. All we can hold on to is memories when they gone. That's it. Old Chucky, man. Well, I remember him and Little Tim had a fight at the gas station on Florence, right? Now, back in the day, you really didn't want to fight Little Tim because Timmy wasn't having that shit. I'm just straight out. Anybody know, they know. You knew Timmy, you know what I'm talking about. So you didn't want to, fighting with what we did, you know what I mean? And we all fought, every now and then we all fought shit. But Little Tim, for whatever reason, was off limits, until we started getting older, whatever. But him and Fudd, man, rest in peace, man, Fudd. We shooting dice at the gas station because we used to be at the gas station, hustling and shit, hey, can we pump your gas, da-da-da? And depending on how much was in the wallet, we'll snatch the wallet, run across Florence, But we gambling. And you know, Darrell, he down there eating his now laters and shit. He loved apple now laters, right? We used to call him Smudley. Man, he down there, man, boom. He chewing it now later. Fudd, I don't know if Fudd tried something slick or Darrell tried something slick, but it got caught, you know, in the crap game. And they, you know, stood up, like, man, I don't know. And Fudd hit him, bing. And immediately his eyes swelled up. You know, I'm going to get Timmy. Took off across Florence. Everybody looked at Fudd like, what the man? Because, you know, just guilty by association. That's how we looked at it. You know, we're like, dude. So we all took off. Bam. We all ran our separate ways across Florence. I look behind me, Fudd running behind me. So I'm like, man, get away from me, man. Right? Fudd. So I'm going up 73rd Alley. I'm crossing across Hoover. I go between apartments where the homeboy Frank Bowman them live to the other alley. I'm going up the alley. So we going up 70 by Barron House to where Fudd and them live on 75th. Before we get to the alley, we hear Timmy yelling and screaming. I peek around the gate. He on Fudd and them porch. I'm like, oh, fuck that. So I break. I go around 74th, run across Hoover. Boom, I run all the way to the house, man. I'm like, I'm gone on me. Shit. Later that night, Darrell come over, man. His eye big. He got a piece of steak on his eye. You know, y'all, you got to know Darrell back in the day, the way he talked. Yeah, cuz, that motherfucker, who fuck you know? I was like, yeah. I was looking at it like, and my mom like, damn, man, Fudd fucked you up, right? But you can't get really clowny because you liable to get mad and go tell Timmy we laughing at him or something. I don't know. Man, shit. Fudd was scared. I don't know how he got home. That man, not only was Timmy there, man, he had the homies. The G homies was on Fudd and their porch. And Timmy was at the head of the pack. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's all bad for the whole house. That's what I was thinking back then, you know. Like I said, Timmy was a terror. He was a terror, man. That's just the craziest shit, man. But we grew up fighting, man, you know. We grew up fighting, man. That's just what it was, man. Actually, me and little Tim had a problem. And you know, I didn't come outside for like, man, about 2-3 days. You know, keep it real with you. About 2-3 days, man. I did not come outside, and I lived directly across the street from him. Oh man, one morning, man, and mom's talking about, boy, you ain't going to, you ain't feeling good. You know, my stomach hurting. So, you know, I was able to stay home for 3 days. One morning, man, Mac bought Darrell in the house, in the bedroom. I'm like, oh, fuck. He's like, nah, but we cool. Nothing ain't gonna, nah, Timmy ain't gonna. I'm like, man, I'm looking at it like, nah, this is set up. Like, nah, man, we good, man. Man, my dumb ass, we go across the street back at Timmy them house. It used to be his pigeon cage, big ass pigeon cage, man, the size of like a 2-bedroom house. So we in there ditching, man, smoking bits in the hedges and shit, man. Damn shack door open and there go Timmy. I'm like, fuck. He walked straight in. He said, Bubba, man, you and Darrell, man, y'all brothers. Y'all ain't got no business fighting. Man, next time I hear, I'm going to fuck both y'all up. Man, I'm telling you, I was shaking like a leaf on a tree, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie. But again, you know, me and Darrell, we actually grew up a lot longer together than a lot of other homies, you know what I'm saying? You know, back in the day, also the Fully Loves, you know, we grew up, man. Again, man, we grew up together, man. So when we get to talking about the loved ones, man, I just like, damn, man. A lot of our bros, man. Weedy, Fully Love, man. K9. Come on, man. Even Eugene, man. Eugene was crazy as hell too, man. Rest in peace, man. Whole lot of memories, y'all. Whole lot of memories, man. Yeah. Glenn Mack, man, said, man, you know Little Sinbad from 107. That's my people. Little Sinbad from 107. I don't know if I know him. Not off the top of my head. Remember Whoop off 73rd? Yeah, his brother situation with Big Timmy. Yeah. Hey, a lot of people don't know that one. Yeah. Yeah. That's a crazy story, man. I'll never tell it, but yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, Rakufu. Timmy was no joke, man. He said, man, Bub, Timmy was no joke, Bub. I remember he was tripping on everybody. Nobody wanted that head up from him, man, for real. And I'm telling you, I seen his work firsthand on individuals. And I knew that in my life, we wasn't going to fight. You know what I mean? We wasn't going to fight, Again, this is when we were younger, you know what I mean? We were a lot younger. And I as a young dude, I seen him put hands on homies. And you know how people tell them, how they say they seen somebody get whooped so bad it looked like the Elephant Man? For real, man. For real, for real. And I was like, hey, man. Nah. Back there, I thought I was a handsome Gap 2 brother. I was like, he ain't messing up my features. No, man. No, seriously, though, Timmy was a terror, man. He really was. I have to say that. But a lot of people didn't know he was a solid cat, too. No nonsense. But he was a solid cat. Real cat, man. Real cat, man. That's what he was. Rest in peace, man. That was my road dog, y'all, before I caught my life sentence. Me and the homie, man. It's my homie, man. Hey. Crazy. Yep, the homegirl Cuppy. That was a crazy couple, man. Jimmy and Cuppy. Rest in peace to Cuppy, too, man. Crazy couple. Yeah, they named their daughter Timberlina. So did. All right, man. Shit. Man. Yeah, man. Little Sinbad, man. My dog, man. Kind of raised him back in the day, man. Him and Snipe, man. My dudes, man. Both. Rest in peace. Mm-hmm. Came home, man. One of the first homies I hung out with, man. Yeah. Good dude, man. I miss him. Yeah. Kevin Butts. Yeah, me and Kevin Butts, man. Man, that's crazy. One of the first pornos I ever seen was at his mama house. We ditched school. And I think they had just got cable or something. He's like telling me about what was it called? The Devil and Mrs. Jones. Like, what the fuck, right? I'm like, man. That was the first, I swear to God, man. Like, what the Devil and Mrs. Jones? I think that was the movie. We used to ditch at his house, man. His mama used to catch us, though, ditching. So we couldn't ditch at his house no more. We'd have to go. We're going to John Muir, too. Back in the day. So we had John Muir, man. We ditching all in back of the shopping centers and shit, on top of the roof, just sitting there under the shade and shit. I don't know how one day, man, we on the back in back of the department store on the roof. Kevin Butts' mama find us on the back of the roof, man. To this day, I'd be like, how the hell did she? This is our ditching spot. This is where we used to go and ditch. Man, get the hell off that roof, both of y'all. Get there, boy. Get in this car. Yeah, I'll call myself, Walk, get your ass in this car. I'm like, oh shit, you take me home, I'm getting the ass whooping for sure. Man, took me home, got my ass beat. Mad at his ass. Like, man, how your mama know we was on the fucking roof, man? Shit, man, I don't know, man. Yeah. Kevin Butts, man, we go way back. Elementary, man. Missing. Yeah, Lil Hito. Old Brother Charles, man. Brother Charles, man. A lot of memories, y'all. A lot of memories. And then I'm going to tell y'all something, man. And so we're talking about the 70s, right? Straight up. I'm gonna keep 100, man. Talking about the 70s, man. And it was a different time, you know. A lot of what we see today, that didn't exist. You know, that couldn't have existed, you know, it wouldn't have been allowed, you know. Everybody knew everybody's mom, you know, and you know, because everybody was at everybody's house. You know, so it could have been 15 or 20 of us. We all knew everybody's mama. Everybody's mama knew us. You know? And so you had to be super careful what you do so that one of the homies' mama don't see you doing wrong. You know what I mean? But your ass gonna get whooped. And then not on that, she gonna be telling her son, telling the homie, I don't want to catch you around him no more. Some of the homies, rest in peace, man, the do man as well, man. Some of the homie mamas, they keep that black boy away from here. Keep that dirty black boy away from here. You know. The homie Pocket, man, rest in peace. His mom, she was telling Donnie, I don't want his black ass around my house. I like, oh man. But you know, back then, man, it was just different, man. The codes were different, the morals and shit, brotherhood, you know, love and respect. It was different. We can have fist fights, y'all, and same day or the next day after whoever had to lick their wounds, man. See, what's up, man? You know, drinking a quote together or something, you know, sharing a cigarette, talking about, you know, you want to make who's so and so your girlfriend because she just moved over there. That's what it was, you know. Wasn't no gunplay between us, you know. Wasn't no animosity to where, you know, it was just, you know, just bad blood, man. It could be a fight. All right, so it was just a fight. And we learned that was a good thing because you learn from fighting, you know. You either learn how to get your ass, you know, not get your ass whooped, but you learn how to not get your ass whooped, or you learn not how to come around certain motherfuckers to avoid from getting your ass whooped. Excuse my cussing, y'all. But they were different times, man. The sisters were different. Man, the sisters were different. Man. You know, if I could go back, if it's a certain era I could go back a decade, that would be the one for me. The 70s, you know? That's where I would go back to, man. Miss a whole lot about it, man. It's a whole lot about it, man. And Perry, K-Mac, T-Mac. Homies, man. It's all good, y'all. And here we are, you know. OG Chuck Luck, man. Man. OG Chuck Luck. That's my wife's godbrother, right? Oh man. So he find out I'm messing with, you know, his god sister. And you know, Chuck Luck was a damn fool, you know. Now this time I'm a little older though. Like, you know, I think I just got out of prison too, man. I don't know, man, but I run into him, man. I'm fresh out, man. I'm getting some gas in my car, man. And he put in the gas station. We was on Western, I think it was, matter of fact. Western and Manchester, probably. And hey, Bubble. So what's happening, OG? What's up, Chuck Luck? Yeah, man, I heard you mess with Michelle. I'm telling you right now, you mistreat her, you doing things, I'm gonna fuck you up. I say, Chuck Luck. Hey, homie, you G homie, hey, but check it out, you didn't do shit to me, homie. You know, y'all don't even know why you're getting at me like that. I don't even get out like that. I'm just telling you, you know, because he was all, you know, he was smooth as muffin, you know. He was smooth though. That was a G homie, man, and he, you know, he knew how to get out. You know, but I was like, come on, man, I don't know why you doing that, you know. Oh shit, man. I left the gas station mad as hell about that shit, man. I think I seen him next day. He laughing about that shit. I'm looking at him like, man, but he had a good time, man. But you know, my wife, the homies love my wife, man. So hey, you know, hey man, it's like, man, get the fuck out of here, man. You know. Anyway, you know, chuck a luck, man. Another real one. Another real one, man. Nut man, come on, man. Nut man went out like a real warrior too, man. He was not playing. And you know, that's the way to go if we're gonna decide to go. Letting them know, hey man, hey, let's get it in then, you know. Yeah, little Leo. Oh, Wayne, man. Young Wayne. Junebug and his brother D. His sister Katie and Gracie. Man, real shit. Said, Bub, do you remember rapping Lil Kev off 73rd sister named Coco? Hugo baby mama. Coco. Yeah, that name. Yeah, I think I know Coco. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I think I do. As a matter of fact, I got a story about that. I come home from prison. I'm on 79th. And me and Snipe, we hanging out and he with her. Yeah, I think that was Coco. And so we chilling. Me, Hugo, and Snipe, we chilling. We kicking on 79th, chopping it up with him. And she tap him and he walk and follow her. She start whispering to him, looking back at me. So I'm like, man, what's happening, man? And he's, hey, bud, man. You know, you go smooth, right? Just love one too. He's like, hey, bud, man, baby said, man, just basically be careful, man, because she saw you in a casket. I'm like, what? Oh man, I hightailed it home, man. I went straight home, man. I drove all the way back to Norwalk, man. Like, man, I'm getting off the streets tonight, man. I'm going home, man. Shit. Yeah, I think that's the last time I saw her. But I think that was her that night with him. All right, James, I see you, man. You say I'm about to go and do that thing, man, and get off, big bub. Hey, listen, bro. Peace, prosperity. All right, take care of yourself, man. As a matter of fact, everybody, let's get ready to cut this show. I'm hot as hell. Before I go, I want to run this video one more time, man, for everybody, man, who didn't check this video out. If everybody just coming in, man, peace and blessings, man. All right. Peace and prosperity, more like it. It's good to have y'all in here, man, and touching bases, you know, just chopping it up like we do, right? Let me drop this video right quick, man. And after this, I'm gonna call it a night, man. You know, but I just thought this was powerful enough to play, all right? Hold on, y'all. My bad. I'm stuck in my own world looking at this thing.
Got to be Shark King or whoever the popular.
Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. All right. My bad, y'all. Shit. All right, there you go.
Discredit everything that we just said. I don't know what the got to happen before we as a community stand up and say this is wrong. Look how fast them Asian people got there. It's been 3 weeks. Going on 178 years at this point. And we can sit here and make anything in the world go viral. Make the hottest dance. We can make the coldest clothes just by saying that we with it. You think this will work if we telling them what we not with? We playing, bro. Still wearing Gucci around me. We don't have no principles. And man, we ain't never made no one decision that we all stood on. At the same time, we spend on the ignorant shit. This rap music, these Instagram these clothes and these Jordans and shit. We gotta put just that much into knowing about the world too. You need to throw some education on your page, and you find somebody that's interested in you, one of these brothers who's speaking the knowledge. It ain't gotta be Sean King or whoever the popular person is if you disagree with them, but you do need to find somebody with a different perspective on some that you respect. You need distractions because it's hard. But don't let the distractions distract us. People know exactly what's going on, but it's to the point where it's happened so much. Everybody like, no, I don't want to watch this shit. I don't want to see this. That's not gonna stop it from happening. We gotta respect each other more, man, and communicate. It used to be against the law for us to speak to each other, stand outside and have a conversation. It's illegal. This is, you know what I'm saying? They had laws against this. We're 100 years behind in communication.
Man. All right. There that is, man. We're going to end that on that note. We'll end that on that note. No. Hey, Smoke, I see that. Yeah, I'm down for that, man. We got the hookup on this thing. At some point, yeah, let's go in on that Zoom call, man, that Zoom hookup. Yeah, that's something I'm down for. Now, on that note, y'all, man, hey, look, man, just love yourself, man. Love yourself, man, so that we can love one another, all right? And take care of yourself so that that time comes, when that time comes, for you to be able to take care of, have to take care of another brother or sister, you be more than willing. You know how to do that, you know? Let's open these lines of communication. That's what we're missing in our communities, man. We lack communication. We don't got it, you know? We tend to think, man, that talking to one another is detrimental, man, to our well-being, and it's not. It's not, man. We're missing a whole lot, man, a whole lot of knowledge, man, wisdom, you know, stories, man, of experiences, man, that's going to help us, man, through these times. We have to start communicating, you know, find them brothers and sisters, man, you know, that want to hear what needs to be said, man. They out there. All right. So you brothers and sisters, man, in the RGC, peace and prosperity, all right? B1 equals black first. Power is in the people, y'all, all right? You are, you have been, and you will be under the groove. One love.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hearst, and writing future history. From the Apollo to the borough to the sphere. Where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transform suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance will prologue every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. That's in the Sarge. This is once a less than Hatters, hats, and Mercedes. Please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive, watch the applause for polls. Need to take the tropes and counsel any problem when the wet just wanna build the seats and bait. Now don't get the pause. It's just the raising up the times. Plead the walk is off the main. Make it on the fans. Turn and neck and love the durn. Suffer like a kesha. You were wrong to preaching up on side as each alone. Bitch on the shit and untrue seeing vets and wonder very it's on Gary Land. Be hell in heaven, you see what the bonafide. You wait something for the marker rate to keep him from the trumpets on the boards to the singer land is carried open slowly. Keep us looking on my mother, break it, generosity for the he and let the blessed be and every time we keep a spawn.